Get ready to infuse your planners with summer vibes and make planning for July more fun with my latest digital kit called Lemon Birds. Welcome to Plan With Me for July. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. In this kit, you'll find 12 summary journal pages, including 8 focal point designs and 4 versatile backgrounds, perfect for adding journaling or other visual elements. Additionally, I've included undated planner pages and ephemera pages to enhance your planning or journaling experience. To cater to your preferences, all of these pages are available in both A4 and US letter formats. So please make sure to select the right format when purchasing this kit. You can find all the relevant links below this video, including my Plan With Me playlist for 2023, in which I've also shared a video demonstrating how I created this paperback cover planner. Let's dive into the world of lemon birds and have fun planning for July. So before we dive into July, let me share what I added for June. So this is where June starts. Using my Keeper of Memories kit. Then I added 2 of my journaling cards from that kit to this paper bag. And inside I just have a hiking map because my BFF and I went hiking for a few days. So I wanted to keep a map of that area inside here as a memory. This is a gorgeous card that I received from one of my viewers. And I actually thought this was a postcard, but it turned out that she actually took this photo herself. And it's one of her favorite national parks, which is called Arches in the Southwest USA. And it's also one of my favorite national parks. So I was so thrilled to receive this beautiful card. And I attached the card by gluing it on the 3 sides so I can open it. And here is another card I received from another viewer. So thank you for this one so much as well. I love keeping these in my planners. This is an envelope using the Keeper of Memories kit that we made together in my Plan With Me May video. So this folds out, and this is a tuck spot in which I kept some memorabilia and some photos from the hiking. This was my train ticket. This was a postcard of a place on top of the mountain where we had something to eat after our hike. This was the place we stayed with our room number, and here are just a few photos. This is my BFF's dog. He is a Hungarian Vizsla, and his name is Tulumba, which is the name of a Turkish sweet. And I love how he's sticking his tongue out here. And this is very hard to see on the photo, but this place is actually called Barbara. So of course I had to have a picture with myself. Yeah, just beautiful snow-covered mountains. It was absolutely gorgeous. So those live in here. And the whole time we were there, we were looking for the perfect so-called Kaiserschmarrn, which is an Austrian dessert. Looks like this. So it's kind of like a dough that becomes very fluffy, and you fry it in a pan, and then you just cut it up into pieces, and you usually have it traditionally with some plum jam. It was surprisingly difficult to find a good one, and we actually did not succeed. But it was fun searching for it anyway. Nothing special here. This was the week of the Art Journal Festival. This here was something that I was gifted by one of the participants. Really, really beautiful doll. So this flips up. This is a layer of resin, which has some gold threads embedded. And then there's a beautiful little vintage collage here. And on the back, She added some bright colors in the backgrounds with sprays, and then added some gold stenciling with the Klimt stencil that we received at the festival. This here was the cover page of the brochure that we received there. And if you want to learn more about my experience at this retreat, please check the video linked below. This envelope we also made in the Plan With Me June video. Did I say May for this one? If I did, apologies. Of course, I mean June. And this one has some journaling space, which I have yet to fill. And that just closes by sticking that in there. And on the back side, I added this photo of Honey and myself at the Art Journal Festival, showing our journals that we were working in. I do have Honey's permission to show this photo. Hi, Honey. Hi, sweetie. And I attached this as a pocket so that I could stick some photos behind here as well. And these are some photos I shared on Instagram. So I wanted to print those out and have them in my planner as well. This here was also a story that I posted on Instagram showing my little journal I was working in, and in the back here is my ephemera book. There's also a video on this coming up separately. And in here I have 2 more photos that I posted on Instagram. Then I made this tag using a photo of my mom and turning her into a dragonfly. This was a very recent video. I will link that for you down below as well in case you missed that. I made this one out of my favorite chocolate packaging. Then I added a pocket made from the scrapbooking kit from May. This holds a journaling card from the June kit with my to-dos. I think it's really fun to mix up all the kits. Then this is for me next week, but for you this is the week that we're in right now. I just added this piece here for my to-dos. Here's the second half of the paper bag, onto which I added these beautiful images that Christine, one of the hosts of the Art Journal Festival, created using an AI inspired by Klimt. So this is one and this is the other one. They're just so gorgeous. And inside I kept the program of the festival. Then here I have my to-dos in this pocket, which was again from the May kit, from the scrapbooking kit. And the journaling card I used here was from my Dragonflies Resurrected kit. And that is also then for my to-dos. And this goes up until July 2nd. This here is a video that is coming up. So you'll hear more about this later, and this is where we start July. So I've been adding the month here in the front on my cover page for the month. Previously, I was doing that using these die cuts, which have 2 different sizes of alphabets and numbers. This die has the number 665924. But then I found another one which makes my life even easier, which is this one right here, which already has the months put together. And this one has the number 667178. I'll just show you what these look like. All it is the same letters, but they're just already put together for you. And that just makes it so much easier than having to put the letters together yourself. It's just super convenient. Then I have the overview for July, and I had stamped all the dates here. We have one paper bag, my step tracker, and then I've already gone ahead and stamped out all of my weeks. So my first week in July starts with Monday, July 3. And this is week 2. We have this little fun thing to put something on. Week 3. I left this empty for whatever I come up with. Week 4 and week 5 going all the way until Sunday, August 6th with the second half of the paper bag. And this one is still empty. So So I've already printed all of my July ephemera. I've cut them out and I've inked up the edges with walnut stain. So these are all ready to go. And I think the first thing I want to do is add something here on this paper bag. Maybe just one of the journaling card images. Since this paper bag design is quite busy, I think I want to take one that is not so busy. So maybe not these two, but one of these two. Either of those I think would be really nice. I'll go with this one. And then we could also add one of the labels here. So there's two here that are blank. So you can add whatever you want on these. But I think I'll go for this metal looking one with the memories, hoping that I will put something in the bag here from July, which will be a nice memory. And I could add that on the bottom here. And just to make it a little more fun, I want to add another layer in between here. And I have this baking paper laying on my desk. So if I add a piece of that underneath, that also kind of calms my background. So I just want a small frame. So I'll cut that here and here. So then I can glue this onto my baking paper. And then I want to grunge up the edge a little bit more and tear that and just make that look a little bit more vintage and come to life a little bit more. So I'm just tearing it in a few places and turning those edges up, crumpling them, even tearing a corner off, why not? I know this is not everyone's thing. And I'll add some more walnut stain to those edges. That's better. I really like that. Now, before I glue this on, I want to actually attach this little label with brads. So I will first glue this on. And then take my awl and punch 2 holes right through those brads. And then I'll choose 2 small brads to put in there. My goodness, how difficult is it to find 2 that are the same? Okay, success. Oh, and I forgot I actually wanted to add some cheesecloth underneath the label. I guess that's not happening. Okay, so now we have a little bit more dimension here, and I can just glue this onto my paper bag. Then let's add something on the back side of the paper bag as well. How about one of the bird tags? I think I like this one the best. And I want to again give this some kind of a frame to make it stand out more. I have this Clairefontaine paper here in a beige natural color. This is 250 GSM. Yeah, I think that will give us a really nice frame. So I'll glue that on, and then I'll do the same thing that I did on the other side, which is to tear it up. I just think this gives it so much character, but I also think it's more of an acquired taste. I think especially if you're starting out with junk journaling, this might seem a bit strange for you to make beautiful ephemera and then to just destroy it again. Okay, then I'm going to again add my walnut stain around the edges. Really going into those tears. So I want this to have the look like it came out of a box in your attic or something like that. It's been there for like 100 years or something. Yes. We could, of course, also spritz a little bit of water to make the Distress Oxide run a little bit. Why don't we do that? I'll just put a cloth underneath so I don't get my whole journal wet. And then I'll just spray a little bit around the edges. And see if that does anything. Maybe not. So I'm going to take my walnut stain Distress Oxide spray, but I'm not going to spray it. I'll just take the nozzle and I'll add some here. This is very intense, so I am careful. Let's spray just a little bit more. Yeah, that gives it a nice grungy effect as well. To just have that running around the edge. I don't really want it going over the bird's head or anything like that. But you see here, it's running around the edge there. Okay, I'm going to dry this. If you don't have oxide sprays, you can definitely also try it with watercolors or even acrylic paints. Just experiment. It won't look exactly like this. Try it with what you have before you go out and buy all the things. I know it's really hard. I am constantly tempted myself. But also when you're junk journaling, it's not about having everything at the beginning. Don't forget that I have been doing this for many years now and I have built up my collection slowly and I'm still continuing to build up my collections. But these things take time, so be patient. Okay, then I also want to add this label here saying summer. I realize if you're not in the same hemisphere, you might have winter now. I do want to acknowledge that, and then you can just stamp winter here if that's what you want on your little label. And this time I do want to add some cheesecloth. This is coffee dyed. I want to add this underneath, but I also actually want to crumple this up a little bit and make that look a little bit more vintage. And by the way, please excuse my voice. I know it's not great. I've waited for a week to film because I didn't want to film with a voice having a cold, but I couldn't wait longer. I need to make my videos. So apologies, I'm fine, it's just a cold. So I'm just going over this with my Distress Oxide again to make those wrinkles come out a bit more. And then I'll cut a piece of my cheesecloth. I haven't used cheesecloth in a really long time. There was a time where I used it underneath just about everything. And then I kind of forgot about it. And it's back! Yep, that will do nicely. On the top, I want to make a hole. I'm going to use my ID punch. Oh no, it doesn't go in farther enough. Yeah, I'll do it anyway. I wish it would have gone in a little bit further. You can find these online by searching for ID punch. They make a hole like this, which is really fun. So I'll just go around that to grunge that up a little bit more. Like that. And now I need something to put in there. So how about this one? This seems to be left over from another project, and I like that it picks up the blue from this piece of ephemera here. So let's thread that through. Yeah, I like that. Let's cut it off. Fray that edge a little bit. We could tie some packaging twine around it. We could have also just stapled it. Let's try this version first. And maybe I want to add a charm or something on that. Let me see what I have. I just found some feathers, which I don't think I want to add up here, but maybe I could add one down here. Yeah, that's really cute. Let's do that. I love how the brown of this feather goes with his feathers. Okay, I kind of messed that one up with the glue. That's not great. Maybe we add another one on top. Yep, let's add another one and be a little bit more careful with the glue, Barbara. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I found two charms. One is this key here, onto which I just added some turquoise gilding wax, and I wanted to put this on another project. I ended up not taking this, so I think this could be cute there. And then I also have this little dangle here, which I think is adorable, which I want to add here as well. So I've attached them onto one jump ring, and with another jump ring, I'm just adding that onto my packaging twine and then tying a little bow. Or maybe not even a bow, maybe just a double knot. Okay, and now we can just glue the whole thing down. Since this is a bit of a thicker cardstock, I'm using my thicker PVA glue rather than my art glitter glue, which is a bit thinner. Now when I compare the two, this one seems quite boring in comparison, doesn't it? This one has a lot more going on and it has more contrast and everything. So why don't I add a little more of that Distress Oxide here as well? So I'll first make it a little bit wet on the edges. And then I'll add my walnut stain there. Let's let that run around a little bit. Okay, I'll dry that. Wow, that's so much better. That gives it a lot more depth and character. And look at all this beautiful oxidation. It almost looks like rust now, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that's a better match, front and back now. This adds a whole bunch of bulk, by the way, but that's okay. So moving on, I have this little piece here, and you might know from previous videos that one of my favorite things in my journals are these little odd pages in between my regular pages. And I remembered one of my favorite pages in Nadia's journal. So that is this one right here. I can't even really fit it under the camera anymore. I have a whole flip through of this, which I will also link for you below in case you're interested to see what's happening in here. So one of my favorite pages is this one right here, onto which I glued a paper bag handle. And it's just a fun element to have. So I want to do that here as well. And I do have a paper bag, but these handles are too large for this piece here, as you can see. So I figure why not just make my own. After all, they're very simple. So I have this piece of packaging here, and I need to cut down a strip. I don't know yet how long, so I'll just cut it the whole width and then I can always cut it down. Then I'm going to fold this in half because I don't want this to be super flimsy. Okay, And then we could either just glue it together, or what I'm going to do is just take this to my sewing machine and run that through. And once we have that, we simply need to fold this. So how long do I want my handle to be, and where? Maybe I want it actually on this shorter side here. So it'll be like that. And then I just bend this at a 90-degree angle, like that. And then I fold it again at a 90-degree angle, like that. And then I can just cut this off here. And I have my custom-made little handle. And I can then just glue that on the back there. Now, I definitely don't want this to look as new as it is, so I will do the same. I'll just crunch it up a little bit, tear it. Same thing that I've done with the tag and the journaling card, because I want, of course, the whole month to be cohesive. Let's protect the page underneath. Spray some water and add some distress oxide. And let it do its thing. Maybe add some more water. So this is what we have when it's dry. I really love it. It almost looks burned. But of course we need to do it with the back side as well. I love how burnt this looks. This is really nice. And now, of course, our handle looks a bit new, so let's give it a treatment as well. Maybe let's crumple it also a little bit so that the oxide can move into those creases. So this is what we have once it's dry, and that really looks old and grungy now. I love it, and it really works well with our burnt paper here. Yes, very happy with this. So let's glue that on. Then I want to add him. So there's 3 of these with the ephemera kit, and I want this flamboyant bird right here. I also want him like sticking out, because the more things that are sticking out, the more interesting to me. But now, of course, we have this white backside that we don't want. So we'll just do what we've been doing. That seems to be working just fine. Oh, I just love it. And of course, all of these grungy, messy techniques have been inspired by my dear friend Louise Heinzel. If you love these kind of effects and you don't know Louise's channel, please check it out. I'll link it for you below, just for the odd coincidence that you don't know Louise yet. She has tons of inspiration and ideas that I haven't seen anywhere else. Then I definitely need something dangling from somewhere, maybe from here. And I found these brads that I've had, I don't know, years and years. And as you can see, I haven't used a single one yet. They are by Bo Bunny, and they're animal themed, so I think they are perfect here. The colors also work really well. How about this one? It's like a leopard design, something I usually do not go for at all. This time I'll use my small hole punch. Of course, you can also use your awl. Okay. And for the dangling things, I think I'm just going to add some fun fibers. These are Avril yarns. spelled Avril. You can find hundreds, if not thousands, of different Avril yarns on Etsy, for example. And I'm just going to tie these around the brad for some more visual interest as well as something we can touch. And I'll just tie these around. And then they peek out on the bottom of the planner as well, which is always fun. And then I found these hole reinforcements. Ooh, there's a little snowflake. That I have gone over with some Distress Oxide. I believe this was probably the Wild Honey. If you want to color your hole reinforcements, you need to get some that are matte. Don't get the glossy ones because your oxides won't stick to it. And of course, again, you could also color these with watercolors or acrylic paints or inks. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to punch 2 holes down here. And take these Wild Honey ones because the color just goes so well. I'm just adding some glue because I don't think these stick very well. And add these on top of the holes. And I made the holes too close together. Oh well. Just go with it, Barbara. Not what I had planned, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. And I'll add some from the other side as well. But on this side, I'll take my brown ones. I think this was probably Vintage Photo. And I could just leave them like that. I think they're fun on their own, but I will see what it looks like when I add another Avril yarn. Actually, I have this scrap here as well, so I'll add both. I just love these little fun details. I think they make all the difference. And I've mentioned this in other videos, you know, the more love you add to your project, the more love it will give you back, the more you will enjoy looking through it later and discovering all the little details you may have forgotten about. It kind of reminds me of 2 wedding bands, right? 2 golden wedding bands. But actually, you know what works really well? Because this bird here, I don't know the name of this bird, unfortunately. But look, he has such elaborate feathers. And I think this kind of, both of these actually remind me of those kind of feathers. I think that's really fun. And then I also want to add something on the back here. I don't want to cover a lot of this up because I think it's absolutely gorgeous the way it is, but I do want some kind of a focal point here. And I want to try one of the flowers from my latest purchase, which are these thinlets with the number 664164. And I want to use this one here, which is this one, and they're quite large. I think that will make a really nice focal point. And I'm going to use this here, which was a test print when I made the background journaling pages. And this is half the size of a regular page. And I want to use this blue because I think this blue will work really well here as a nice contrast. So I'll take this to my die cutting machine and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, let's see. I'm so curious. First time using this die. What is happening? Okay, here we go. I think it needs something underneath to come out even better. Maybe some of this packaging. Yeah, I think that works better. So let's tear off some of this. No straight edges allowed. Then let's again mess up the edges. You know how this works. Crumple it up. Add our water and our walnut stain. So now we have this. Love it. And if we add this here and add this on top, I think that comes out better with the dark background than this, right? I don't know, does it? I like it better anyway. So I'll do that. And then I think it's going to need some splatters. And I'm squishing this as I'm gluing it down because I don't want it all flat. I want it to have some interesting wrinkles. Usually I would love to highlight those with gold, but I think that takes too much away from the flower. So let's add the flower. This time I'm using my art glitter glue because of the fine metal tip. This is a bit tedious. It's so worth it. Obviously, instead of a die cut, you could also check your books. Maybe you have some books that you could cut out some images. And this now needs some thinned down gesso splatters. You could also use just thinned down acrylic paint, of course. And I might as well add some here while I'm at it. And if you prefer the crater look to big splatters like this, all you do is you dry your splatters partially so that the outer skin has thickened. And then you take a paper towel and then you press firmly onto your splatter. And then you get these fun craters right there. And one more thing to note is that you see here where I have the splatters on my Distress Oxide, they do change colors, so they're not white anymore. I'm totally fine with that, but something to be aware of. Thank you for joining me for this planning adventure with my Lemon Birds digital paper kit. I hope these vibrant summer designs bring a refreshing touch to your planners and inspire you to stay organized throughout July. Stay tuned for more Plan With Me videos and creative content coming your way. Until next time, happy planning. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.